Yeah. Good morning. They say you can't put lipstick on a pig, but girl's doing it today. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is the morning dew. I am Delia Jackie Hope Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and the laced up legislator for the House of Delia. It's the 93rd District. Honored and grateful to serve. Um, I hope all are well and you are making it through this August in the best way. If you have any events or anything coming up, go ahead and drop them in the chat so I can mention them for all the people this morning. I'm gonna dive right in it because I started a little late, but I'm grateful that y'all are here. Good morning, Miss House. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Smart to a Fault. I like that. Smart to a Fault. Mr. Little, so good to see y'all. I think I'm kind of feeling the burn today, just a little bit, just a tad bit. And part of that is, oh, before I even go into stuff, I did want to say, I have coming up next week. If you know anybody with like a small business, right? If you know anybody with small, we're doing a thing called a Small Business Power Alliance, just helping small businesses understand how they can advocate for themselves on the state and local level. That's happening next Thursday evening at Amazing Soul, I believe at 6. The information is in my stories right now, and if you're on Instagram, and then I'll put it up on my I'll put it up on my link. I just got the flyer and everything from the store owner who's hosting it, but it's next Thursday. If you know some small business folks, uh, I'm just trying to think any other summer school's coming up. Y'all know we're doing dialing with the delegate on Tuesday nights now, so that's a big deal. I really want y'all to stay tuned for that because I'm picking comments and you can actually join in the conversation, which I love having people from. It's not like this, the morning dew, where I'm just the talking head, but you in the audience can join in. So keep your eye for that. It'll be pretty much every other Tuesday until October. Uh, so there's that. Um, so I I may sound like I'm dragging a bit because I am dragging a bit. Oh, thank you, Kevin, for letting the Black Chamber know that this is a big deal. We need our small businesses to advocate. If we say small businesses are the backbone, then we got to treat them like it, right? So I'm really hopeful that we can get some good stuff done there. But all right, so if I'm dragging, it's because yeah, I'm dragging. I actually am dragging a bit. I think about this past week. I've just had two instances, and you all can tell me this, like in your life, if you've had these moments where you are the person um, that most people think it really has it together. You know, I remember growing up, and my siblings would like my cousins would, call me white girl because I read, or like, uh, yeah, as we got older and I joined the military really helped me get my life together. And they would always just treat me as if I behaved as if I was better than them. And I remember my Uncle Jerry leaned over to me and he said, Jackie, don't you worry about what your cousins and them say. They always gonna have something to say about somebody that's doing something. And it has kind of caused me to separate myself from the familial relationships, not just the military, but familial relationships. I have uh, three brothers and one sister, and I only really have a relationship with one of my siblings. Most of my family, when my father passed away in 2003, uh, his family did some very egregious things, right? Like, I was my father's oldest child, and he had me very late in his life. So he was had me in his late mid 40s or something like that. So I was his oldest child, his only daughter, and I ended up having to come back. I was deployed when he passed away, but I was on deployment, and they called me back over to sort of come back and take care of business because he was in hospice. But my last 2 years of high school, I spent um, caregiving. So my father was getting ready, like he was diagnosed with cancer. He was a bachelor. He was an elder bachelor. So I was his only lifeline as my big mama. His mama was she she was elder. She didn't drive, but that's something you can do in Chicago. You ain't need no license. You can be but I ended up caregiving for him the last 2 years, which came with a little bit of sacrifice. My father was a stubborn ass. Okay, like love him to death, but there were things he would allow me to do for him, and there were things that he absolutely would not allow me to do. But bathing him was a thing. Um, Dealing with his mood swings. I can tell you the fact that I was there caregiving for him made him really mean. And he wasn't mean to me. His energy wasn't always the same loving person that I was used to. I'm looking at the comments, and Kevin says we strong people need need a strong shoulder, and that is not related to you. Yeah, that's the true thing. Sometimes you need your people outside of strong shoulders too. Um, Smart to a fault says I spent 13 through 36 caregiving for my mother with MS. Yeah, that's young caregivers especially. I don't think we talk a lot about that, about children that are end up caring for their parents before they're adults. It came with a lot of sacrifice. I didn't go to some dances. I was not a part of things, and people thought like my personality was changing, but really I was just assuming the role to meet the moment for my father. Now, fast forward, because I was into everything in school, y'all, like all the things. Fast forward, I did almost 11 years in the Navy. I separated from the Navy, found some work. I'm here. I ended up here, right? The only reason why I left for the late Navy was because my father was like, you cannot stay here and care for me the rest of your life. My brothers were still minors. So if I was 18, my younger brother was 15 and 14, my brothers were. It was a thing, and it broke my heart that he wouldn't let me stay. But again, I said the military upgraded me. It is the thing that took me into the next level. So now I have, in my love affair with work, I genuinely love to work. I'll just say this, like I can't, I won't sugarcoat that. Now in my role as delegate, I realize, and this is probably why I feel like low energy and stress. At the role of delegate, I recognize the toll of having roles and being able to show up for the masses, right? This past week, I had maybe in the past 2 weeks, I have had several folks in the community that know the work that I do, that, are here. And I had people challenge me on like, what are you doing? What are you like doing for your campaign? Because I'm in the midst of a campaign. What are you doing for this? What are you doing? Like, essentially, like, I'm just not doing enough. I didn't see you in the pictures here. Why didn't you show up there? And it made me sort of assess, because I'm a doer and I want to do all things. And I don't know how y'all are, but like, I'm a doer. Yeah. Miss Jan said, God chose you in an early life. Yeah, Tamoju is great. Yeah, I choose to believe that too, that like these things happen in succession because that is what was meant to happen. Yeah, the same thing. Yeah, you did the same thing for a dad. So, Kevin, we have a lot in common. My dad was a retired, I'll get into that. However, I look at the landscape of people in political leadership, and I want y'all to think about this. This is why we've got to do better. Like, and I'm saying I put myself in that, and getting people to understand what it means to lead politically, because our lives are legislated, right? Most of the things we do are legislate. You don't write an appropriate things online because there's community rules. You don't walk outside butt ass naked because you can be arrested, right? Like you stop at the stop sign because you could get a ticket. So our entire breadth of our lives is legislated in some way, shape, or form. And so um, I don't take this role lightly. Let's start there. Let me basically, I don't take this role lightly. But I am one of very few mothers in this work. I mean, I'm just thinking locally, right? Like, how many mothers do we have in political leadership uh, just in Norfolk? I like the breadth of that. I had to think about these roles, right? Because I was feeling a little bit insecure about not showing up, not doing enough, because people that see the work that I do were like, I was like, wow, like I'm being talked to like this. And I know that it's because they want to do things. And so I'm trying to give people tasks of things to do for and with me. But at the state level, I'm the only mother that in Norfolk, we'll just talk about Norfolk, that represents Norfolk. I'm the only mom. And the local level, I think on school board, there may be two mothers. And on council, I don't I don't know that there are any mothers on council, any people that have, birthed a child, took care of a child, or like, I mean, I don't want to say birth a child, but like I don't know I don't know that that's a thing. So you take that role that culturally as a parent, and some of my, yeah, I love the way this next iteration of parents are like molding things together. But like, I want you to like think about that. Society does not allow me to acceptably walk completely tuned out of what's happening in my household. I get asked all the time, well, who's got the kids? Who's the like? Spouse would never get asked those questions. It's a lot of like these little mental tolls that people take about challenging what roles you can take. And I'm saying that from a legislator standpoint, but you may have that from your role, where people question how you're able to do the things that you're able to do. And then I have a spouse, right, that I like this guy. So I have the role of that. So like, you take the culturally of a mom, the cultural aspect of a wife, because my husband there are certain things where he's like, go ahead, you 20, 25 woman, do your thing, and other things where he is super traditional. And I respect the hell out of that. Like, I respect the way that he has chosen to set up his life that allows me to sort of move. Um, and then you couple that with, many people know, last year, my mom had a stroke. And and that's what today is mostly about, right? So, like, mom, wife, I got to also take care of Jackie, legislator. And then, my mom had a stroke, and that was a whole ordeal, right? Like, whole ordeal of like, thank God that she was here. Um, I was out of town again. It's like one of those things when all of this happened. And then there's a phase, right? When you're caregiving, and I think Kay Willie, you might understand this, is that caregiving, there's a piece of it that is like the physical need, right? But at some point, for some people, you get to what your new normal is with that person that you're caregiving for. And what people don't talk about after you get to that new normal is the mental toll that it takes. So, so as a veteran, as a mom of a union working, my dad was Air Force, and a legislator trying to make things work better for all of us. Um, I also hold that title, and I sometimes that takes a mental toll. I have watched families and neighbors wrestle with caregiving. I've seen them wrestle with the exhaustion, with the paperwork, with the impossible math of time, money, and love. Like, how do you, when time plus money plus love, and sometimes you want to say time minus money plus love, or time plus money minus love, like it is a challenge. So I want to say, I know what it feels like to show up for your people while your tank is running on fumes. And that's why when I talk about caregiving, I'm not just speaking from some abstract policy. And I've been thinking about my policy agenda and what are the things that we can do in our office to be helpful. um, I am speaking as someone who has lived it, who has researched it, and also wants to legislate it with my heart. Before I go into, I wanted to talk about some key innovations, things that I've been looking at in the caregiving field with y'all, like really sort of think about what those things look like. But I know there is something, while I'm going to talk about technology, there is something to having the conversation about the mental health side, not only for the person that's being cared for, but for the people that are caring for the people, right? Like, I want to walk into the situation with my dad or even with my mom. Like, I want to walk in with a good heart. I want to walk in, but sometimes I just am like, and then I look and I see the emotional toll it was for both of them, and that it is of just adapting to that new normal. No, that's hard. That's really hard. I'm going to the comments. Oh, God gave you everything you need. Thank you, Kevin. I believe you. Tasha, you are appreciated by so many. God is pleased and nothing else matters. Keep on marching. Thank you. Smart to a fault, which I love that name. So the challenge with caregiving is that we don't always know how to take care of ourselves while taking care of others. I tend to agree with that. It's finding that balance. Kevin said, I went to counseling. Yes, a Black man went to therapy. Yes, give yourself all. Like, Kevin gave himself like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trophies. You deserve all those trophies, because it can be a challenge, not only just making this decision to go to counseling, but finding the right therapist or counselor, and then showing up to those and keeping those appointments, and then exercising the things that you get from those appointments. Like, those are 3, 4 tasks that you cannot underestimate. So I'm so proud of you, Kevin. I'm so grateful for you, and you keep being a shining example of what it means. One and only Misha says, we glamorize outcomes and gloss over process. Yeah. Thank you for processing. It's a part of what allows you to bless others. I've not heard that sentiment before, but I actually love that when we glamorize outcomes and gloss over process. Yeah, that's real. That's real. And I'm sad that I let, this week it was really tough, just sort of um, letting certain things like tap into me and hit my heart. Like, man, I'm trying, but I can't show up to every event. I can't be at every, no, that's not that I can't. I'm choosing not to do those things because I cannot. I'm also choosing not to give leftovers to my kids. And that's not to say that not to say that I'm present all the time, because I'm still trying to create healthy boundary with work, because I love the work that I do. I also have a day job. I'm a citizen legislator. So I love my work. I love being a community representative. I love being a producer and getting stories. I love it. Okay. I will work all day and all night. As my friend Kim's father would say, John Willie Graham, is that, I want to soar with the eagles and who with the owls. Okay. And I know I'm not supposed to be doing both, but damn it, them eagles be having so much fun, and them owls too. I want to be, but you can't, as my husband told me, you can't always burn the candle at both sticks. Yeah. Yup says, oh, it says, I'm due here. I wrote a book about caregiving. Yes. You tell me more. I love that you're writing coping skills. I'm new here, but I wrote a book. Yeah. But yeah, you can send. Yes. I love it. Share the title and everything where folks can find. I'll make sure I share it too. So with that, now that we're in 2025 and it's not 2005, we've got some powerful tools that are reshaping the caregiver landscape. Some of the things that have come into play, and again, this is the tech side, not the mental health side. I think that's a whole conversation. There are folks using AI for smarter care. So, most people look at AI as just robots taking jobs, and sometimes it's about giving us a break. So there are now certain chatbots and voice assistants that help seniors manage their meds, that answer their questions, that even keep them company, which I will talk about that later. Don't beat me up. That means that sometimes there's a little bit of reprieve taken off of the human caregivers and more of a safety net for families. There are things out there. People are um, trying to innovate, and I'm thinking about how do I be helpful in encouraging that information. There's also wearable tech. Um, those smartwatches and biosensors, they're not like just tracking steps. They can track vitals, falls. They can send real-time alerts, and that's maybe sometimes fewer ER visits and more peace of mind for caregivers. There's also this things that folks have been trying is like robotics in assisted care. So there are these exoskeletons that you're used to help people walk again, like robot pets, which is interesting. I read about this robot pets to sort of reduce loneliness. To me, it sounds like sci-fi. But they're here, and they brought some to the Capitol before. But easing that physical strain on caregivers and giving elders sometimes some dignity. Like I have a friend who's like, I really want a dog. I just don't think I can maintain it. So there's that. And then there's also AI powered caregiving training. So for those of us who provide care in some way, like tech is trying to level up with different AI simulations that now let caregivers practice scenarios and online platforms that sort of will help us learn more without the cost of travel. Because I see programs all the time. If you look at my stories right now, there's the Virginia Department of Veteran Services is putting on a military caregiver seminar sometime next week. So the link is in my in my in my stories. But that's not just people that are caregiving for someone that's on active duty or that was on, like, most of the caregivers I know, we do a breakfast club in the morning. Some of them are elders, like they get older and they're caregiving for their spouse now that they're in their 50s or 60s. That's real. Thank you, Ricky. Yeah, caregiving is a huge topic. I think we sort of gotta consider where we are in life and what we're expecting of people. Yeah, please share your book. Oh, I love it. Um, it says it's called Smart to a Fault wrote a book, and it's called The Color of Care, a beginner's guide for the African American caregiver. And you can go to thecolorofcare.com. Thank you so much for sharing that. Um, but and I love what Misha said, because like I don't want to glamorize outcomes and gloss over process. We can't romanticize uh, um, what's happening and the innovations that are happening in the caregiving sphere, uh, because caregiving, even in 2025, is hard as hell. Like, it's hard as hell because there are still workforce shortages and burnout. We simply don't have enough human caregivers, and the ones that we do have sometimes are underpaid, overworked, and exhausted. And that turnover, it can break families or even the facilities, the caregiving facilities that we have. I worry about like privacy and ethics with these innovations. So yeah, I love tech. Tech is great, but do you really want the algorithm knowing everything about your grandma's health or your daddy's health or your mama's health? Data security is a huge thing, and consent for me, they are big issues that I don't think that we've quite solved yet. We're still trying to solve it with our little citizens, and let alone, with our elders who AI scams. And like I've been doing work on like how do we stop people from getting scammed? Like I think about these. Another barrier that can be there, because right, like I'm gonna tell you, I don't um I do not was gonna say, I forgot. Data security, they're big issues. They just haven't been solved. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I don't have high paying jobs. Like I am a disabled veteran, so I get a stipend for that. I produce, and that's a thing. And then I also am the delegate. But most of you know my salary as a delegate, $17,640. That's my salary. My producer salary is project based, so it gives me flexibility, but I also don't make nearly as much as I did when I wasn't elected. And then what I get for my disability remains the same. So the cost is a barrier sometimes to things. And when my mom had her stroke, she didn't have insurance. So there was a whole thing of just trying to figure out like what we do now. That's like 8 weeks of rehab or 6 weeks of it was crazy, like all of this inpatient and outpatient in home care, and like that's a lot. So the shiny tools that they're making, their prices, wealthier families can benefit first, while moderate and low income, and I'm just saying, like, it's that number, what is even moderate and low income at this point? um but I know a lot of people I represent in Norfolk would still be waiting for things like this. Let me and to be fair, right, to really think about what it is we have here, there is no app, there is no robot that will ever replace the compassion of a human connection. The hand that you hold at the hospital, that still matters a whole lot. It still matters. Let me go to the comments. um Oops, let me cancel that. Yes, it is. Oh, one and only Misha said, on a lighter note, you think 50s and 60s is older. No, no, no. What I mean is older veterans. I still think 50 is young. I still think 60s is young, especially when people are living to 80s and 90s. Like, yes, that is young at this point. 50s is midlife, for what we're seeing these days. But I mean, older veterans. For a veteran, that's old. Actually, when you're in the military and you turn like 25, you're old. It's really a weird thing to be the old person. It's a whole thing, right? Um, so Kevin K Willie says caregiving is it's a whole nother job, right? On top of the 2 or 3 or 4 you already have. Yeah, for most people it is. David James says my 78-year-old has started using Facebook and is now sending me AI content. I'm like, how can I protect her? Yeah, 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 yeah. Your mother. I love it. Shout out to David's mom. That's real. That is real. When mama be out there, she out there getting access to things, getting opinions formed, right? We don't want them to fall into the bubble, and that's real. Too smart. Smart to a fault that you're speaking truth about human touch. Yeah, there's nothing that can replace that human touch. I'm just saying it. So, and even with that human touch, there is there's now still this sort of there's an emotional cost, and I think we have to keep it a buck, right? Keep it 100 with the emotional cost. Tech can help, but it doesn't erase that emotional toll. You just heard Kay Willis say, I will say your thing, Kay Willis, 97198 1984. Okay, like K7, it said it like, look, it's a whole nother job. Caregivers are sometimes working full-time jobs, raising kids, and then turning around to bathe, feed, or transport loved ones. There's an organization called the RAND Corporation, the RAND Corporation. They once put out the value of unpaid caregiving in the US as over $500 billion a year. You heard me. I'm going to say it again. They put out a report that once valued unpaid caregiving in the United States at $500 billion a year. But there's a hidden cost. The toll that it takes on caregivers themselves. Caregivers are twice as likely to suffer from depression. And I can tell you, I also have fibromyalgia, and it acts up when I'm like feeling, when I'm emotionally not in a space. Like, not only and I have PTSD, and that usually I've learned my triggers, but like I've had a couple instances over the past 2 months that people have done things that have severely triggered my PTSD. So I'm already like sad a little bit, right? Coupled with my physical ailments, because fibromyalgia is like my nerve endings are hyperactive and I'm just in pain. Like those things coupled with like, I'm also sad because I need to do this, and this, and I'm not showing up enough for my mom in this way because it's not that I don't care. It's like, do I have the emotional capacity to do certain things? Like, I get mad at myself. So I could only imagine I can't imagine, because I know with my dad, like those who have to do a whole lot of physical care, how you can suffer, your mental health can suffer exponentially. So over half of caregivers say their own health has worsened because of caregiving. many of their own doctor visits. They many of them skip their own doctor visits because they're just too tired and strapped for time. And when it comes to the aspect of older spouses providing intense care, they face a 65 they face like a 63% higher mortality rate. And that's not just a statistic. That is somebody's mother, that is somebody's husband, sister, neighbor. That's us, right? I want us to understand the requirements, right? Like that's tough. So I'm going to the comments. Um, Cancel. Yeah, it is. I hope I'm speaking the truth. You said speaking the truth about him and Judge. David says his mom, she's smart to it, but I'm still worried. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I remember I had a thing where my mom's phone was acting up, and I was like, okay, it what is happening here? And it was like, you also got to worry about the apps that they download and what that does to like making sure there's no malware and stuff. It's a whole thing. So David, I understand that. Like, I know that you're intelligent and you got it, but I also know that there are people out there that are sneaky as hell and are doing wild stuff. So I just want to keep you encouraged. Yeah, the emotional and physical spiritual toll is crazy. I had 3 ulcers at 17. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Small toe fault. Yeah, but I could see it, the worry that sits in your pit. David James says, sad that we lost on getting Kamala's plan to help family and caregiver members. Yeah, I agree. That was one thing I was happy to hear someone talk about. Let's talk about the Lilly Foundation for your tech caregiver thoughts. They fund hundreds of millions in the area. Yeah, for real. Hey, just at the bottom of my screen is scrolling my office information, Kevin. So if you could take my email stuff down, please do just take it down and tell me. I'm certainly open to just having the conversation about it and like bringing some more awareness to it. David James Glass says maybe Spanberger can make it happen. I mean, I would love to put this in front of you. If you all have, we can as a community sort of talk it out and then put this in front of folks. Yeah, we can put this in front of folks. But the requirements of, I want you to remember that caregiving also is not like it's not a one size fits all, right? It can mean driving somebody to dialysis. It can mean doing laundry and cooking or just sitting and talking. It can just mean like just sitting and talking for real. Like just take the time. And I'm trying to do better myself of like, just like go sit and talk. Even though I talk, like it's a desire to show up for someone. It's managing meds and blood pressure checks. It could be bathing and skincare and toileting. It can just be advocacy in a healthcare system that speaks in codes instead of in compassion. Like sometimes it's part-time help, sometimes it's 24/7. Either way, it's work, it's love, and it's heavy. It's heavy. But the great thing is that there are resources out there, y'all. Like I think Miss Jan was on it. It looks like she switched over. Miss Jan has SAG, Seniors Aging Gracefully, which again provides not only like tech education, but like friendship. Like sometimes that piece of like caregiving can be isolating for the giver, but for the person that is receiving care, like isolation is just not what you want. And that can be difficult because maybe you're not as mobile as you are anymore. Maybe you're just trying to, maybe not you, maybe the person you are caring for is not as mobile. Maybe they now don't, like themselves as much to go out. There's so many barriers to getting them to that, but like companionship is a part of it. The Senior Services of Southeastern Virginia, SSSEVA, they also have a buddy program where they can pair you up. They have transportation. They have all kinds of things out there. There's so many resources out there. But en masse, those bigger resources, as we look at like what's happening at the federal level, the Medicaid, and then state, the Medicare, the VA has caregiver programs. There are some tax benefits. We need paid family medical leave. Like, I know that there is stuff, responsibility for me as a state legislator to do more talking about this, because I was thinking about it the other day of like, they are pulling at me. People are pulling at me, and I cannot be this insecure, because I'm doing, like, I had to do that mirror talk, like I'm doing the best that I can. But part of it, people can't have empathy sometimes for what they can't see. And so that's why I feel like today, when I woke up and I was like, I got stuff I need to do. My mom asked me to do this stuff. I didn't do it last night. I don't be prioritizing sometimes the stuff I should be prioritizing for her, because whatever reason, it's me. And I need to get up and do this live. And I don't really feel like getting up and doing this live, but I'm going to do it because we do, like all of these things. So we need to talk. I have the responsibility of talking about it more, right, from a place of truth and love. I know that there's respite care, there's adult day programs, there's support, there are even apps and communities, like I talked about, the SAG community, but there's a thing called Patient Like Me that connects family that are maybe navigating similar journeys. But again, I'm gonna be real with you. Most people don't even know that sometimes the support exists, or the process feels like just too freaking complicated. And that's why I feel like policy matters, which is why leadership matters, which is why I quite frankly think maybe that's why I'm here, to hold in hands the conversation about, I am a mother and a legislator, and I know a lot of y'all can't relate with that. Like, I know y'all don't understand the cultural aspects that come with that. If I was a father, it would be different for me as an elected leader, because the system is kind of designed that way, not for the nurturer. And let me just say this, I'm saying the nurturer, but I am not always the nurturer in my household. We have this thing called the hammer and the hug. And me and my spouse, we switch off. So I'm like, are you the hammer or are you the hug? Choose, because I don't always like being the hug, because I'm not always soft. Okay. Like, I'm not the nurse in the house. No one gets hurt and comes to me physically. They immediately go to dad. Now, emotionally, if they get hurt, come to mama. But that's the nurse daddy. Okay. So like, just, we have our roles, and helping people understand what that looks like in this work, because I'm not the typical person that shows up in policy work. But somebody said it earlier, like, I'm trying to remember that I'm here for a reason. That's why I need y'all help. So, like, if you have a thing where you wish I was doing more, if you bring it up, head it up, I will follow. I can lead, I can follow, I can get out of the way. Yeah, so let me go to before I go to the so what now what, because I do want to get to the so what now what of today. And sort of look ahead, I'll go to the comments. Oh, cancel. Hey, Amanda, if you're still there. Oh, the nails. Oh, so I have to put these out there. My friend keeps saying, did you share your nails? These, every month I pick a local artist or an artist in general, and get their artwork put on my nails. These are from a lady by the name of Bisa Butler. Bisa, Bisa, Bisa Butler. And she has this quilt that she made of the Harlem Hellfighters, and it's gorgeous. It's called Don't Tread on Me, God Damn It, Let's Go. That's the name of the artwork. Don't Tread on Me, God Damn It, Let's Go. And it's the Harlem Hellfighters. And I wanted some art that was both meaningful and political in its own way, like the Don't Tread on Me, how that is, y'all, that's a whole thing. But thank you. Shout out to Krishan at Get Nailed Nail apostrophe D. She has been an amazing source of information and joy, small business owner, that I love and appreciate. So shout out her. She good at what she does. David James said, for sure, these lives are the best. Growing passion for legislative process is few. Oh, good. I'm so hopeful that you continue to grow your passion for, that's what he said. Kind of what you're doing now. This is a form of therapy. I feel that way. I do, because I don't always love, I think that the in the world of legislating, there are maybe like a handful, like a two handfuls of people that just, I'm like, you need to go find something else to do, or like, like, you're not a good person. Most of the people in this work are really good people. and don't have outlets because you have to be private in some ways. Like there's by nature, the more people know about you, the more they can hold you accountable for, or just like if you don't want, there's just this thing about politicians having it all together all the time. I'm just here to tell you, I don't have it together all the time. And I can be a good leader and I can be a not good leader. Like my team is the best ever. Like they are the best, but even sometimes they are only as good as my leadership. And sometimes it's spot on and sometimes it's not, because remember, I'm dealing with my own demons. Like I need to get back in therapy for my PTSD. Some weeks I have what's called complex migraines. I'm out of the pocket. Then I'm at stuff. And then they're like, hey, we need you for this, 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 and this. And like, you got to like, sister, you got to get it together. So like, doing these lives have helped me sort of put the things out there, because I feel like the more y'all know, the better I can be at my job. And I feel less insecure because I know there's somebody with eyes on that would tap and knock on my door, whether it's knock on my door through email or through the internet, and tell me what's happening. So I don't feel the pressure to know it all. When I don't, I can just say, I have no idea. School me, teach me, right? Because we are here to educate, advocate, celebrate, then legislate. In that order, educate first. So that's the work that we do. Miss House says caregiving makes one stronger, more compassionate, and definitely wiser to embrace the spirit of discernment. Yes, discernment is like one of my favorite words right now, Miss Jan. It's one of my favorite words. Been sort of holding it. Ben Dope, hey, welcome, Ben Dope. These lives are necessary. You touch all people. We love it. I love and appreciate y'all for being here. Smart to a Fall said, I think that's one of the things that takes energy away from us is as caregivers is what we are often both the hammer and the hug for long periods of times. Yeah. For long periods of time. That's not fun. And I don't always want to be the hammer. And wow, it's got to be a bad guy. I don't want to be the bad guy. David says, before watching these and the education from them, I had no idea the process had become so open and spent most of my life thinking nothing we do matters. Yeah, and your advocacy changed the whole bill, right? Like you, you you changed the whole bill. Like David just was like, hey, why is this in this bill? And I'm like, I don't know, but let me go find out. And the whole bill got changed just because you were like, this ain't right, which I appreciate, right? I'm not the one who knew. Am I making, am I a glass maker? No. Oh, well, I am a glass maker. I made 2 glasses. No, but am I a literal glass maker? No. So I don't know. So thank you for your advocacy. It makes me smart. So let's just look ahead. So where did this leave us now, y'all? We, I think, are definitely at a crossroads. We can let caregiving be a part of a private struggle, which I'm not interested in. Hidden in living rooms, hidden in hospital rooms, or we can meet it head on. I know that we can build a future where technology sort of eases burdens, where policies protect families, where the human touch is never lost. And that's why, as a legislator, as a veteran, as a mom, right, as a spouse, as a person who cares very loudly, I am committed to making sure that caregiving isn't something that's treated like an afterthought, because it is at the core, right? Because I believe at its very core, caregiving isn't just about extending life. It's about enriching it, right? It's about the days that we don't know how many we have, making them better. And so, yes, I will embrace AI. I will embrace robotics. I will even embrace telehealth. But I will also embrace the caregivers, the one thing that sort of holds it all together. Because innovation, it can help us, but compassion, I believe, will save us. I do. Thank y'all for being here this morning. I really, really appreciate it. As Kay Willie said, it's like therapy this morning because I can tell you, I was like, I don't want to get up, I don't want to talk. But we did this together and I'm grateful for you. Remember, if you have any ideas, then you can go ahead and, my scrolling across the screen is our information. If you love the work we do, all I ask is that you put me in your budget. Like, money in politics is such a weird thing to deal with, but I this year took seriously really sort of making sure that I had the funds to have the best staff, to give my staff what they need to do the things. Like, I'm working on getting an office, which is a real thing. So if of any size, somebody that wants to give some in-kind office space, because that is a cost too. I'm open to it. I'm looking for it. But yeah, take time to give. I don't $5. Like, just show your support. That is a part of it. Like, showing people that you have small donors, $2, $3, $25, $100, $200. I don't like. Whatever it is, that is a form of support. You help me keep this work going on. I use StreamYard to do this. It's not free. I'm working on getting yard signs for this next election cycle, which I just want to do something different. I haven't released them because I want to do something different. I don't want to just have a typical yard sign. I'm trying to think of something that is like forward freaking leaning. But it all comes at a cost. So the link is in my bio to give. If you go to deliajackie.glass.com, you can invest. Right, it is investing in the work, but also help me with this legislate. Like, help me, like, if you've got ideas, holler at your girl. Email me and say, or if you got an article that you think I should read. Shout out to Harry. Harry is a constituent that is always sending me articles about the healthcare system, innovations, like, I have gotten so much smarter on the healthcare system just because he emails the office the articles, and no pressure. I don't get to read them all, but I love that he does that. All right, so the people are going to be finding out the power through innovation soon. I'm so excited. Alvindo, yeah, I'm trying. Smart Tech Fall, grateful for you. I'm grateful for you, and I appreciate you too, Vindo. Hey, Amanda, promoting the you and doing you. Thank you. We're trying over here. Yep. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Stop the shooting. We got to connect, man. I've been seeing, I try to pay attention when you got stuff, when I get on social. Stop the shooting movement. Y'all, I love it. The arts, all the things. And we got to find our people to invest in it. Even if you're like, Jackie, I don't do politics. I want you to do policy. I don't like politics either. But again, remember I said you for damn sure better like policy, because our entire lives are legislated. So get into it. If you find that, like, you're like, Jackie, I don't know if I want to be given to a political campaign. Well, I want you to find a nonprofit to give to. My team would hate me for saying that. They would be so mad at me. Like, girl, you better raise this goddamn money. But also find the community space. So, like, stop the shooting movement. Like, there are other things. If you care about youth and the things that they are able and capable of doing, find the thing and give a little. I don't care if it's $5 that you give to an organization. Like, just do it. It all matters. All right. So until next time, and that's the So What Now What. I am Delia Jackie Hope Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, laced up legislator for the House of Delegates, 93rd District. So honored to serve. So grateful to be here, especially on the morning dew with certified doers just like you, because doers get more done. And don't sue me, Home Depot. Bye, y'all. Take care.